I see. Oh,
Yeah. Now, how do I get you moved over? How do I get you over here? So there you are, and here I am. And I don't know how to get you over here. So there must be a something. Oh, share screen. No. Cancel. Window. No. Cancel. All right. Invite guests. Add source. Settings. Is that? Does it do it? No.
while you're doing that.
Oh, there you are.
Oh, there, yeah. Here I am.
Ah, that possibility and that possibility. Look at that. Oh, oh, you experiment enough, you figure it out.
Well, write down what you just did. Now,
Well,
can you invite Tony?
oh, I'm supposed to invite Tony too?
Sure.
So in order to, and every time you invite a guest, you have to, it's a new link. So it's like I thought maybe I could put the link, on a Word document, just copy it and send it, but that's not going to work.
Actually, what I think you can do is schedule the meetings and just schedule everything, and then it'll stay the same.
Yeah.
I think. Now, did you? And there's Tony.
And there is Tony, the big T. Yay!
I'm wondering if we could like do anything a little different. Okay,
Well, I think
yeah, do that. Now Cookie's just having fun.
Yeah. Well, now that I figured it out.
and I think that she can schedule the meetings.
Yeah.
Can't she?
Yeah, you can schedule the meetings. You can schedule things with this and move it around, and you can hide. It's a little bit easier to use in Zoom because I think because this was all for restreaming platforms, but you could do it. This is a little easier, kind of a little bit more interactive when you're talking about just live streaming and video editing, which is why I preserved this over using the free Facebook platform.
Yeah. Oh, I prefer this way.
Yeah, and then you can show the comments on the side, right? So if people are chatting or putting information in. And then the three of us can like live stream, anyone who's kind of saying something and those sort of things. So I prefer higher levels of interactivity because hopefully the higher levels of interactivity when we go and I have to go plead with them as we hit too high of a debt ceiling at the church.
Yes.
It'll be easier. We're interacting with you online. You're just not a straight consumer.
Well, the real problem with the debt ceiling is that there are like one or two pledges that they cannot die.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Last year we lost a couple of really big ones.
Yeah. Yep. So yeah. We lost enough big ones this year too. So
already?
ones.
Already?
We have to fill it with lots of people with little pledges.
I know we lost Gary Tatum and Margaret Rainey last year,
Yep.
but who big did we lose this year?
Simone,
Oh no, they're still pledging.
half,
Well, but
and that's not going to last forever.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
We
trying
hope
to get
that Mikowski doesn't find a church in Rockland.
It's
Yeah.
now. Are we restreaming now at the moment? Are we streaming over to Facebook Live?
No, I think we're streaming to my channel. That's what I had set it up as default.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
I know it doesn't tell you what it is, but it's
It's at the top cookie.
I know it's the top one. Yeah.
Yeah, so you can just double check that before you go live.
I always do.
Yeah.
I decided that maybe this week I'll go on YouTube and see if we get any takers after a while.
Well, you could do both at the same.
Yeah, you can do both at the same time. Yeah, but I did it once and I just want to try it for a week because there wasn't anybody that found it the last time. So
The interesting thing about what happened Saturday for John Wyant's memorial, we have more YouTube viewers than we had Facebook viewers. There were 15 people watching that on YouTube.
yeah,
2 on Facebook. So,
Well, I will tell you that if they're older, you can't watch it on Facebook unless you have an account, which is
right.
why I now have an account. And people from the church keep trying to invite me. As a friend, I need a lesson in Facebook sometime. And I have a notice up there saying I won't accept any friends.
Yeah. Well, I had to when I was archdeacon. Anybody that was interested in the diaconate, and I went as soon as I quit doing that. I went through and unfollowed all kinds of people. I didn't, cut them off. I just cut them from showing up on my.
I think that's what I need to learn, Tony. I am filled up between you and Mac and Carlin and Karen. My sons are on there too now. I have 2 more people, but
Yeah.
they don't send me much. But I get all of this stuff, and it's wonderful. It's interesting, but I don't post anything myself. So
No,
that's okay. You can be passive.
you don't have to.
That's what it's for. I mean, the thing about all that Facebook stuff is I mean, I've cut back on it, but I've unfollowed all my crazy Republican friends. So, all the evangelicals who are out there decrying the end of the world. My friend who's a Dutch Reformed minister who has gone he split over the RCA over the issue of gay marriage. So he's like leaving the RCA. I was like, wait, the RCA is actually like coming around? How did that happen?
Yeah.
Which in itself was shocking to me, but
And the RCA being
the Reformed Church of America,
ah,
the real Calvinists, I like to say. I mean, the Presbyterians say they're Calvinists, but the real Calvinists are the Dutch Reformed.
yeah.
I keep them as my friend, though. I have to. You have to understand what certain circles are saying, but it is fun to watch. It is fun to watch. Like, wow, this is a lot of mental gymnastics to get where you're at. So
it's just when they rant that I have problems.
He gets to rant because he's a pastor of a fairly large church.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I have. There's the wife of one of the deacons that I go in and out with. But every once in a while, I put her back on and follow her, so see what she's up to. And then when it gets to be too awful, I just unfollow her again and go off my merry way.
It's okay. My wife got too upset at Linda Evans, so Linda has limited her feed to us. So I'm okay with that, because the one that set off my wife was where the Irish were slaves, and it was like, well, they were treated well, but
No, they were
Oh,
slaves.
they were some of them slaves, yeah.
The Red Stockings were slaves.
Oh, no,
10,000.
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think it's the I think my wife is just tired of people being victims.
Oh, I get tired of it. I will say one thing. I should remember to tell this to your wife. Because of all her interest in the Native Americans, I decided that I would send some money to something, and I picked out the Native American College Fund. And I'll tell you, 3 minutes after they got my check, my name was on every Native American fund.
I could have told you a better one that I'm associated with that you could give to. That you can give it to the Costo chair at UC Riverside, because that makes at least. Then at least you'd only get University of California Riverside like sort of stuff, because they hold their donor information a lot tighter.
Yeah. Well, but and some of them I really like their address labels, but not enough to send money to them. I thought I'd just keep the college fund there. But I swear, I mean, I hardly had the check in the mail before I started getting more solicitations. Like,
oh no, I'm worse. The Democratic Party is terrible to me. I get so many solicitations as a Democrat. I remember one year, and I did give money. This was really
well, that was your first mistake.
Well, what I wonder why is the Democrats must be slouching off, because I get lots of stuff from the Republicans.
Yeah.
No,
I don't get anything from the Democrats.
I think it's because their data is not that good, Paul.
Yeah.
They're not that good. You fit their demographic.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Late boomer, white male. That's the demographic that they solicit.
Yeah, but I think that they would have a different filter than that to go to. It's just independent. I think it goes to all independents.
They do that too, but they're not as good as targeting. There are files that you can buy based on voting behavior.
Yeah.
So they take a look at that. I'm such a straight Democrat ticket voter that I've stopped getting any of that.
My voting record would eliminate me from their list.
Well, Phil was always targeted by them. He'd never voted anything except Democratic. He'd even worked for the Democratic Party. And one year we got a commemorative plate with Richard Nixon's face on it.
You sure that wasn't for the Democrats so that you can break it?
You use it for target practice.
Hey, I got the best piece of Democratic mailer last year that did in the midterms in 2018. That was for 2020. It was the best thing for fundraiser 2020. It was Nancy Pelosi shaking her finger at Donald Trump in that meeting at the DNC. I was like, oh, I'll give money for that, because priceless. She knew how to handle him. She was the one person that knew how to handle him.
Yeah.
Which was in those meetings, and she came out better. Like, people usually don't come out bruised or looking terrible, but she came out looking good.
Yeah.
I mean, I believe that I've only voted for. I made the mistake of voting for Reagan once.
Was that
because I thought that I didn't want Carter, and I would have voted for Anderson, but they said that Carter was going to win. And so I voted more against people than I have for.
Yeah. I think the last Republican I voted for was Jerry Ford.
And let's see,
running with Nelson Rockefeller. I liked Nelson Rockefeller.
That
was Republican today, though.
Oh God, no.
Yeah.
No, he'd be out starting a new party.
I'm not sure that Reagan would be allowed
to
be Republican now.
I think, who was the last Republican I voted for? Oh, I voted because he wasn't crazy as the other guy. It was such a gerrymandered Republican district at the time in Riverside. I voted for John Benoit because he was actually sane. Because otherwise I had to deal with Russ Bogue, who was like absolutely terrible and like clearly a race baiter. At least Benoit's wife was Mexican, and he wasn't too terrible on the issues of illegal immigration at the time. So
I think there's a Republican representative down in the South Bay I voted for.
no, you might have voted for Tom Campbell.
Yeah.
I would have voted for Tom Campbell, but I couldn't vote at the time.
Whoever was running against him was.
They had some crazy people running against him. And they weren't crazy lefties; they were just crazy.
Yes,
because they weren't much different than him on the issues.
It's Tom Campbell wasn't too bad.
He had to go further to the right though in the recent years, so he's got a very bad record now.
That's because they kept gerrymandering that district. You loved my old district.
Remember, it came out of Scotts Valley up through Campbell and San Jose, Cupertino, and then up through Sunnyvale. It was like this weird sliver.
Oh, it went 60 miles north to south, and at the most was 10 miles wide.
Yeah.
And it moved.
We had a district like that went up to Elk, past Elk from here on the West Coast.
Yeah, it went Los Altos Hills, Saratoga, Montesarena, Cupertino, Los Gatos, and then skipped around and hit Morgan Hill and Gilroy through slivers.
Yeah, you should take a look at the current congressional map. It's actually fairly interesting.
Yeah.
They cut off a chunk of the interesting thing is now Fairfield is cut off from Vacaville.
Yeah.
Congressional map. So now this I'm cut off from John Garamendi.
Yeah.
Now they cut off Vallejo from you too? I can't remember.
No, we still have Vallejo. So most of Solano County is in the new Congressional District 8. So we're with Hercules, Richmond, Martinez, Pittsburgh, and Antioch.
That doesn't sound like Solano County. That sounds like Contra Costa to me.
We get northern Contra Costa and southern Solano because it's all of Fairfield, Vallejo, and all the way out to Rio Vista.
Yeah.
And then I think
Benicia too.
Yeah, and basically, like, actually, no. I think Paul, you may if I am right, and I take a look at this map, there's going to be a neighborhood. There is like one neighborhood in Vacaville that's bound between Alamo and I want to say where Scarlet is. So Paul, you might actually still be. Paul may be actually in my congressional. Actually, you are.
No, unless they changed it, I'm in Garamendi's. There's an area south.
This is as of the final map, Paul, and it is.
I'll go take a look at it.
Yeah, no, it is Congressional District 8. I think your neighborhood ended up in our congressional district.
Well, as long as I've lived here, every time they've had a census, we've gone back and forth with whose district we're in. For a while, we were in the guy from Napa Valley, and then we were into Garamendi's, and then we went back to I don't know who we're in.
Well, now the new one for Vacaville goes all the way from Clear Lake down to Napa and most of Sonoma.
So we're back in what's his name's?
Yeah, Mike Thompson, I think.
Thompson, yeah, Mike Thompson.
Santa Rosa, and then all the way out to the Causeway, out to the Yolo bypass, and Rio Vista. So that's a bit of an interesting. It's like a very large district.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I think they had to do that with losing a seat.
Yeah. We lost one.
They're all large now.
Well, they're all a little bit larger. They just redrew a bunch of districts. The Citizen Commission, I actually think has done a pretty decent job.
We have a message from Petro Harico.
Someone's probably just watching the YouTube channel. Anyways, well, this is working, Cookie.
Yep.
I'm gonna go grab lunch.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
so you got this down.
I got
and
it.
So I'll just make sure that I have my email up and going on the right section 5 minutes before you're on.
Yeah. But I can't. I can get the thing and send it to you,
Yeah,
but you can't come on until I come on. So I'm wondering maybe we should come on a couple of, maybe a minute or two early.
it wouldn't be bad to do that. And
Yeah,
by the
certainly
way,
in the beginning.
while I have you, if you could give a little filler for 30 seconds
Yeah.
before you start, because I just barely get the name of the saint you're talking about.
Oh.
And I'm
Yeah,
on right away.
I've been trying to keep. I wanted to keep it to 15 minutes, but I don't think it's doable. I think I gotta plan on 20 with this one I'm using.
Yeah, it's
Yeah. I should just talk, either run the music or talk to myself or something.
it only needs to be about 20 seconds more,
Yeah.
or 10. Even 10 would do it.
Yeah. It was interesting this morning. We had it showed 8 people on, but 3 of them never signed in and left somewhere around 12 minutes. I keep my eye on that. I was like, oh, well, that's interesting. You'll be a good statistic for next year. As long as you stay on for more than 20 seconds, you get counted.
I thought I recognized everybody that signed in.
Yeah.
And it was
At
like,
least there were only 5 that signed in.
no, there were more than that.
I don't think so.
Nick came in late. There were, I'd have to look again, but I recognized.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right,
Anyway.
everyone. Well, I should get off before we get more trolls. Before we get more trolls.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the other thing, you didn't know who was the conquered Indians? Remember when I talked about the Miwoks?
Oh yeah, the Miwok. I guess I
It's
looked
the
that up.
Miwoks.
Yeah. Oh,
Okay, that's
it might be the Lent Madness books.
okay. We'll go and we'll try this again another time, I think, just to make sure.
Right.
Okay, bye-bye.